Let's welcome David Hancock.
Hey, how you doing, Judith? Thanks so much for having me here.
We're doing great. So what's going on in publishing that you see as a publisher?
You know, I tell you what, there's a lot of stuff in the news about publishing. They're all comparing it to the music industry. What's happening to the industry? Bookstores are closing. Publishers are going bankrupt. It seems like a really scary time to be an author and to be a publisher. But the reality is it's a very exciting time if you're doing it right. If you're focusing on the author. And from our perspective, it's all about the author. We're a success because our authors are a success. Granted, some of the formats might be changing over the years, how they're being sold, but it's still about the message and the author. One of the things that I love about what we're doing at Morgan James is we literally are trying to help the author continue to reach their goal, reach their readership, and grow their business because of the power of a book. The book is still a very powerful tool, but as we transition to whatever the 21st century publishing may look like, it's still going to be about you and your message and how you can change the lives of those that will read your book. And for us, from a nonfiction standpoint, we think it's going to be very powerful, and as long as you're delivering great content with passion and purpose and developing really strong relationships with readers, not only are you going to change their life, but they're going to change your life as well.
Well, tell our viewers what is the kind of process you do in identifying authors that are the right fit for the Morgan James model?
Oh, that's a great question. Of course, we only do nonfiction, but don't tell anybody I said this, but 80% of what we do when we talk to an author and a potential author that comes our way, we get over 5,000 submissions every year, but the real key that really makes us make the decision is the author themselves. And really, they have to have something good to say, that's like any publisher. But we also look at, can the reader benefit from it? But we look at also the fact, can the writer benefit from having said it? You may have the best book on raising birds, but you're a car salesman, and for that there's a disconnect for us because we love looking at the entrepreneurial nature of the book and the business. We love to try to help grow your passion in your business by the power of the book. But then the other 80% is you, the author. Are you passionate about what you're doing? Do you really seem like you're the right person to bring this to market? Can we catch that vision? Do we understand it? Do we think you're the right person? And can we then take that passion and share it with the rest of the team and get the bookstore salespeople excited and the bookstore buyers excited about it? If you're not excited and enthusiastic and just vibrant about your own message, how can we get excited? So believe it or not, Judith, 80% of the decisions made by the interview with the author.
Mm-hmm. And so you see a certain trend of books happening? It's nonfiction, which I get that.
Right.
But is there a more certain trend? Would it be in the self-help, the how-to, or is it in the management or the leadership, or is it the spirituality? Where is it?
It's right now it's still kind of across the board for us. So a little bit widespread. It's more about the author than the actual specific genre. The ones that are really selling well in the bookstore right now, just because of this time of the environment that we're in, are the ones that are trying to help people get out of where they're at, whether they're losing their job or they need to get a new job. We're trying to, we're seeing a trend where the bookstore buyers and the consumers are buying the books to start a new business, get out of an existing job, or create some additional income streams to offset, the troubles that they're going with now. And then, of course, the books that are related to health seem to be doing really good. Now, for us, a health line of books would be more about the doctor. Do they have other things? Are they building relationships with their patients? Are they helping them beyond just prescribing them medicines? But there's a lot of health issues going on now, a lot of job issues going on now, and of course that motivational aspect, that self-help, that vision of trying to help you mentally reach the next steps.
Okay. And how does an author reach out to Morgan James?
Oh, it's really easy. We're probably one of the most approachable New York publishers that we've ever seen. You literally could just call our offices or just send us an email. And for me, even though I'm the founder, I read all my own emails. You can just send me a note, david@morganjamespublishing.com, and we will respond and send me whatever you're thinking about. We'll hop on the phone and chat.
And what do they need to send you? So what do you have kind of, I know you have guidelines and things like that, but in a summing up, what kind of guidelines are you looking for?
There is
and how long? How much verbiage?
As brief as possible. Because I would love to just get on the phone and catch it all from you just on the phone with you. But if you just want to send me a note, in fact, if you go to morganjamespublishing.com and click on Get Published, there's about 8 questions that I'm going to get out of you. But if you want to see them in advance, there's about 8 questions on that link under Get Published under morganjamespublishing.com. And I'm going to ask you basically who you are, what you're trying to do, and there's I think a great little guideline. And if you could just send me a note with some of that stuff as brief as possible, we'll get on the phone and we'll talk about it.
So my last question then is, let's talk about time. So you're not a traditional publisher, but you're not a vanity press. Okay.
Right.
So that when you look at the publishing timeline, which could be 18 months to 2 months out. In fact, I just talked to the conference that you and I are at. I just got through talking with somebody, And she said that they had got a verbal agreement from a Christian-based traditional publisher that they would start they were committed to it, but they would start looking at their project in another year.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so I'm saying, so are you talking, am I hearing this, that book's going to come out in 2014? And she says, yeah, I think so. And I said, is that soon enough for you? And she said, I don't think so.
Yeah.
All right, so she now has to look at other options in doing that. So let's talk about timeline.
Cool. In fact, the beauty of what we're doing is we've been able, over the last 8 years, carve out this great niche. The industry sees us as a traditional trade New York publisher. We have the credibility of the right number of New York Times bestsellers. We've got our track record. We have full bookstore distribution for our titles, as long as we can follow certain timelines. It's phenomenal. In fact, the timelines are pretty quick compared to most publishers. Part of that is just the nature of our entrepreneurial business, but part of it has been a negotiation with the trade, to work kind of within our we're won it yesterday kind of mindset. So for us, it takes about 6 months from the time that we start with a finished manuscript to actually getting it on the shelves over at Barnes & Noble or your local bookstore. So about 2 months to actually be able to print a book and put it in your hands, another 2 months for it to start selling off the onlines, the Amazons of the world, and then another 2 months to be on shelves. So pretty darn quick. We're not afraid to do it fast, much like we did with the Millionaire Messenger, which was Brendan Burchard's #1 New York Times bestseller. That book came out from the time we touched it to the time that it hit the New York Times was about 27 days. It was unbelievable.
Which is pretty amazing.
So it can be done. I don't want to do it on a regular basis.
No.
But we're not afraid to do it. The pros and cons of doing a book quick is if you do it less than that 6 month window, the physical bookstores will typically say, we just can't commit to a book right now, but as soon as you prove yourself and start selling and having all this great activity to create the buzz, they often, not every time, but they often will forgive us and start carrying the book anyhow. But if you do follow that 6 month timeline and you're establishing and you're being coachable and you're doing the things that successful authors do, that buzz, that creation, that commitment to creating the buzz is what excites the bookstore buyers and the sales team. We'll get some coverage for you.
And will excite the author.
Exactly.
In the very end. All right, David Hancock, thank you so much.
Oh, it's a privilege.
Information. So they go to morganjamespublishing.com.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, there you go.
Thanks.
Thanks.